We are ready. Thank you, and welcome everyone online and who is present in the boardroom, the Brampton room at the Central Board office, to the Thursday, November 16, 2023 Fiscal Planning, Finance and Building Open Session Committee meeting. Item number 1 is a call to order, which I'm doing now. Item number 2 is a motion to convene into closed session. We have a motion to do that, Trustee Davis, and seconded by Trustee Promoli. All in favor? We are moved into, and while there, I need to rise and report from the closed session. On that note, trustees, we are receiving the 2 items discussed in the closed session. Item 6.1 is the combined capital project status report, and item 6.2, which is the procurement activity report. This is here for our receipt. Can be moved by Trustee McDonald. Thank you. It's seconded by Trustee Johal. Thank you. All in favor?
Yes.
It's carried. We will have now item number 4 on the agenda is acknowledgement of traditional lands.
The land upon which we work, live, and sustain ourselves is the ancestral and treaty lands of the Michizagig Anishinaabe, also known today as the Mississaugas of the Credit, the rightful caretakers and title holders of this land. We also recognize the rich pre-contact history and relationships which include the Anishinaabe and the Ongwe Hongwe.
Since European contact, this land continues to be home to Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples. As responsible community members, we value the diversity, dignity, and worth of all people.
Colonialism displaced and dispossessed Indigenous peoples of their ancestral land
and continues to deny their basic human rights, dignities, and freedoms.
We are committed to learning true history to reconcile, make reparations, and fulfill our treaty obligations to the original peoples and our collective responsibilities to the land, water, animals, and each other for future generations.
Thank you. Item 5 is approval of the agenda, which we have before us. Trustee Johal, will you move that, please? Trustee Bailey, will you second? All in favor? Thank you. Declarations of any conflict of any interest could be declared here now. Seeing none. Item 7 is approval of minutes. These are our minutes for approval. 7.1 are the minutes of the Stop Bar Student Transportation Appeal Region minutes of March 31st, 2023. Was anybody on that committee? No. Trustee Promoli, will you move it? Trustee McDonald, will you second it? And are there any questions about those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? It's carried. Item 7.2 is the Fiscal Planning, Finance and Building Committee meeting of October 4th, 2023. Trustee Johal, will you move those? Trustee Bailey, will you second them? Are there any questions about those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. And there are no delegations from item 8. Item 9 are the staff reports. 9.1 is the annual planning document of 2023-2024. This is here as recommendation for our approval, and we will have a presentation by Manager of Planning and Enrollment, Suzanne, this way, so make sure everybody knows who our team is here. And beside Suzanne is Julian Wiggle, Intermediate Planning Officer. Thank you. And beside Julian is Dana Gutierrez, Senior Planner. Thank you. And to the far right, our far right, is Alex Bleicher, Intermediate Planner. Thank you, all 4 of you, for being here to help us through this massive document, massively important document as well. So I do want to say just a few things if I can before we introduce Suzanne to get started. And one is that this is not any of our first time seeing this for our area. We have all been invited to our various families of schools with our superintendent to hear the proposal from our team. This is an incredibly detailed document that isn't actually here for us to try to change. It's here for our clarification again. So while we've had one look at it with the team, this is our second look at it, at least as this committee. It will have a third opportunity as well when we go out there for eventual approval when you see the timelines that the team will present to us. It is incredibly consultative as a process. It's very long in terms of the amount of time staff have to put into it. And I deeply appreciate all the work that you do. What Suzanne and I had a chance to talk to suggest we should hold our questions as they move through this document with possibly 259 schools being impacted at some point in some way. Even the enrollment projections are an impact for you to look at. 10 years out, the rollout. So what we would ask is if anybody has questions along the way, if you write them down, we will have question and answer period at the end of the presentation. Are you ready, Suzanne and team?
We are.
Over to you. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Stan, and through you, Chair. The annual planning document, or APD as we call it, is the board's major capital planning report. It contains recommendations for new schools, additions, boundary changes, as well as a comprehensive section with information on enrollment, development, program, and procedure. Development and implementation of an APD takes a year, beginning with enrollment projections in February and ending with an information sessions to the public in December and January. It involves substantial consultation with principals, superintendents of education, trustees, and the director's office. The 14 recommendations in this year's annual planning document include 2 new schools, a grade reorganization involving 3 schools, a new school holding boundary and resulting boundary change, 8 regular program, and 3 French immersion boundary changes. The complete list of new schools is a lengthy one. We recommend board approval of schools nearing the top of this list, so it's in place should these schools be included as part of a capital priority funding request to the ministry. This year, we're recommending approval of Brightwater Public School, which is in the Port Credit West community of Mississauga, and Mount Pleasant number 12 Public School located in the planned community behind the Apple Factory in Brampton. I'll pass it over to Julian now to present the next recommendation.
Thank you, Suzanne. Through you, Chair. Recommendation number 2 is a grade reorganization for Churchill Meadows Public School, McKinnon Public School, and Ruth Thompson Middle School, effective September 2024. In the 2017-18 annual planning document, the board approved the reorganization of McKinnon and Churchill Meadows Public Schools from K-5 to K-4, and also Ruth Thompson from grade 6 to 8 to grade 5 to 8. This was done to provide enrollment relief to both McKinnon and Churchill Meadows Public Schools and utilize available classroom space at Ruth Thompson Middle School. Since then, the Churchill Meadows community has experienced an enrollment decline, resulting in surplus classroom space in the junior elementary schools. Reorganizing these schools back to K-5 and 6 to 8 would utilize the available purpose-built space at McKinnon and Churchill Meadows and reduce the reliance on portables at Ruth Thompson. No boundary changes are required with these grade reorganization. Recommendation number 3 is a new school holding boundary for Mount Pleasant number 9 Public School and a boundary change for Galesbury Public School. Effective September 2024, kindergarten to grade 8 students in the hatched area on the map would attend Mount Pleasant number 9 Public School. Mount Pleasant number 9 Public School will be held at the Low holding school until construction of the new school is completed. Mount Pleasant number 9 will be the next new school constructed in the Mount Pleasant community with student occupancy planned for the 2025-2026 school year. Galesbury Public School is currently over capacity, has an active enrollment class cap. Students exceeding this cap at Galesbury are currently being redirected to James Grieve Public School. The formation of a holding boundary for Mount Pleasant number 9 would provide enrollment relief to Galesbury and also James Grieve. And the holding boundary would form part of the long-term catchment area for Mount Pleasant number 9 Public School, which will be recommended as part of the 2024-2025 annual planning document. Recommendation 4A is a boundary change between Countryside Village, Eagle Plains, and Shaw Public Schools. Effective September 2024, kindergarten to grade 8 students in the blue hatched areas on the map would be directed to Shaw Public School, while kindergarten to grade 8 students in the green hatched area would be directed to Eagle Plain Public School. Enrollment growth in the Countryside Villages community continues to be steady. This recommended boundary change would reduce the number of portables required at Countryside Village long term and utilize available capacity in surrounding elementary schools. Recommendation for B is a boundary change between Aloha and James Creek Public Schools. Effective September 2024, kindergarten grade students in the hatched area would be directed to James Creek Public School. The Mayfield West Phase 2 development area is located within the existing catchment areas for Aloha Public Schools. The red hatched area in the map forms a portion of this area. Aloha Public Schools experienced significant enrollment growth this school year, and with most new students coming from this area of development. From the homes in this area continue to close, enrollment is projected to grow rapidly during the 2024-25 school year. This recommended boundary change would reduce the need for a long-term active enrollment class cap at Aloha, and also provide an area of stable enrollment for James Creek Public School. I will now pass it over to Dan.
Thanks, Julian. So through you, Chair, I'm going to be leading you through the next 4 boundary changes. The first one we're going to be looking at is recommendation 4C. This is a recommendation for a boundary change also between Aloha Public School, Homestead Public School, and Royal Orchard Public School. So the area affected by this boundary change is the area on the northwest corner of Beauvert and Mississauga Road. This is also the area Suzanne was referring to when she was discussing Mount Pleasant number 12, the new school. And this is right behind the current Apple factory. So on the screen, you can see in front of you there, the area that we're talking about is the area that's circled in yellow. As you've heard from Julian in the past recommendation, Aloha Public School is not able to accommodate all the additional students that are going to come from this development. So what we are recommending is that this area be directed to Homestead for kindergarten to grade 5 and Royal Orchard for grade 6 to 8. This recommendation is effective November 30th of this year. And this is because there are no current students in this area. So nobody is affected by this boundary change. This boundary change will be in place for as new students move in, they will know which schools they are directed to. Once new schools come online in the Mount Pleasant 12 public school area, we will review these boundaries and bring the students back closer to schools in their community. So the next boundary change is recommendation 4B. This is a recommendation for a boundary change between Ellendale Public School and Elm Drive Public School. So the area affected by this boundary change is the red hatched area you see sort of in the top right corner of the map. Similar to the last boundary change, this boundary change does not have any students in it either. So this part of the catchment area is currently directed to Elm Drive. Elm Drive saw a significant amount of enrollment growth this fall. So to get ahead of the development and to keep Elm Drive from also having to have an enrollment class cap, we are recommending that the K-8 students that come into this hatched area are directed to Ellendale Public School. So it's effective November 30th of this year, and there are no current students in this area. Recommendation 4E is a boundary change between Thornwood Public School and Silver Creek Public School. So the area affected by this boundary change is the red hatched area you can see there on the top left of the map. This area is currently part of the catchment area for Thornwood Public School. So Thornwood 2 has experienced enrollment growth over the past few years, mainly due to an increase in new immigrant families moving into the catchment area. This enrollment increase has placed significant accommodation pressure on the school, resulting in the need for an enrollment class cap at Thornwood and the redirection of students to Briarwood Public School. It is looking like this is going to be the trend going forward as well. So to alleviate some of the accommodation pressures experienced at Thornwood Public School and to better balance enrollments among schools in the community, we are recommending that the red hatched area be directed to Silver Creek Public School for grades kindergarten to grade 5. So as with past practice with the board, current grade 4 students at Thornwood Public School who are in that hatched area will have the option to remain at Thornwood for grade 5 next year and graduate, or they may join Silver Creek Public School. It is their choice. The next boundary change I'm going to talk about is recommendation 4F. So this recommendation is a boundary change between Credit Valley Public School and Middlebury Public School. The area affected by this boundary change is the red hatched area on the screen. This area is currently part of the catchment area for Middlebury. So back in 2016, the board approved a boundary change between these two schools, to direct an area south of Eglinton from Credit Valley Public School up to Middlebury Public School. At that time, Credit Valley was experiencing enrollment growth and utilizing portables, while Middlebury had available capacity. Since that time, we have now seen the reverse, where Middlebury is utilizing multiple portables and Credit Valley now has available capacity within the building. So to better balance the enrollments between these two schools, we are recommending that that red hatched area be directed to Credit Valley for kindergarten to grade 5. And as I talked about with the other boundary changes, current students in grade 4 will have the option to remain at Middlebury or go to Credit Valley. That will be their choice. So now I'm going to pass it over to Alex, who will continue on with the rest of the recommendations.
Thanks, Dana. So the first one I have here is a secondary boundary change. And with secondary boundary changes, we do give an additional year notice. It allows students who are looking at options for grade 9 an additional year to make those choices, seeing as they're already thinking about those sorts of things for 2024 and applying into various regional programs. So this is actually for implementation in September 2025. What we're looking at here is mostly aligning K-8 and middle school boundaries with the secondary school boundaries. So in the blue hatched area right now, we have Mount Royal and an area of new development. Currently, Mount Royal feeds part of its students into Louise Arbor and part of them into Sandalwood Heights. This boundary change would allow all the grade 8s to graduate together and move on to Sandalwood Heights as one cohort. Likewise, in Louise Arbor, the red hatched area we're talking about is a piece of Sunnyview Middle School's boundary. The red hatched area currently goes to Harold Brathwaite. By moving this to Louise Arbor, it provides enrollment relief at Harold Brathwaite, as well as allowing the entire grade 8 cohort to graduate together into Louise Arbor. Brathwaite is currently utilizing 12 portables. So we're hoping that this will provide some enrollment relief and utilize space at both Louise Arbor and Sandalwood Heights. And we recommend this phase in beginning with grade 9 in 2025. This is another secondary boundary change in a similar vein. That red hatched area is actually Plowman's Park Junior boundary. Right now they feed onto Edenwood for middle school, and then they leave their Edenwood cohort and graduate onto Streetsville. So what this allows us to do is have that cohort graduate together into Meadowvale Public School. A large portion of those students are already flexing into Meadowvale. So this allows that administration kind of headache to stop at Meadowvale. And again, we recommend this phase in beginning with grade 9 only in 2025. This is a French immersion recommendation, and really what this does is it aligns the French boundary with the recommendation from Rec 4F. So as we recommend the English boundary change, this aligns the FI boundary to align with it. Again, we would phase this in for 2024, beginning with grade 1 only. Recommendation 5B is a recommendation that we phase out the French immersion program at Thomas Street. commencing with grade 6 in 2024. Thomas Street has 16 portables on site. A number of those are due to the addition at that school that's under construction. Once that's done, if we leave things alone, we're still looking at several portables and growing long term. What this does, it allows us to utilize some available capacity at Erin Center. Erin Center Middle School already has the French immersion program. So this would just fold in the Thomas Street French immersion program, commencing with grade 6 in 2024. Another French immersion boundary change here is between Herb Campbell Public School and Roundtree Public School. The recommendation here is that we expand the Roundtree Public School boundary and add an additional class of grade 1. It allows that hatched area that currently attends Herb Campbell, or they apply as part of the lottery to attend Herb Campbell. This allows a greater opportunity for those students to be successful in the lottery by giving them an additional class. It also allows Herb Campbell, we would recommend that it retains the 2 grade 1 French immersion classes it already has, but it shrinks its area of geography, so it allows the students remaining in the green area to have a better success rate in getting through that lottery into grade 1. Phasing in with grade 1 starting in 2024. And that concludes the recommendations. The plan going forward is that these recommendations go to board on November 29th. Once approved, we can then go out for community information in December and early January.
Excellent. Thank you. Take a deep breath. That's obviously a lot of work, and we deeply appreciate it. We need to put it on the floor so we can have a discussion. And any questions, Trustee Promoli will move it. Trustee Davies would second it. Thank you. Let's open it up for any questions that anyone might have. Trustee Promoli, then Trustee McDonald.
First of all, thank you so much for taking the time to walk us through all of this, for all the work that has gone into this. I know that there is so much to consider with the way that the boundaries are laid out and the needs of all of these students. So thank you for all of your care and consideration in it. So first, I just wanted to mention thank you for 4G and 4H. I just loved that you're putting that work in to help keep grade 8s together when they're going on to their secondary school. I currently have an 8th grader and she has 5 best friends, and half of them are going to a different high school than her next year. And all 6 of them are devastated because it's just, that's how their catchments are. So just with a sad 13-year-old at home, I can tell you how important that is. And so thank you for finding a way to give that to so many more of our students. And then I also wanted to mention how glad I was to hear about Thomas Street. That school is incredible. It is massive. They have so many students there, and I'm blown away by the incredible work that they do there. But that is something that I heard on one of my visits, was they thought, wouldn't it be helpful if we could help relieve some of the volume of population here by shifting French immersion out, and here it is. So, so thank you again for all of this great work here. I see so much care and careful planning in this. So I just wanted to express my gratitude to all of you. So thank you.
Thank you, Trustee McDonald.
Yeah, thank you, Chair, and through you, Chair. As you mentioned earlier, this is the first time we're seeing this, and I just want to thank our great planning staff to have those many discussions until we landed where we did. And obviously there's recommendations in my area that I think they're to make things better for the school community administration and such. So I want to thank you on that. So I'm going to ask a question, not for myself, but I think maybe for the newer trustees. You said if it gets approved tonight and then goes to the board and gets approved, you'll go out for consulting the community and stuff. Can you just elaborate what that means?
Yeah, so maybe what a community information looks like. That's a good question for new folks.
Great question. Through you, Chair. Through you, Chair. So really they're information sessions. We go traditionally to a gym We'll have several stations set up so that parents can come in and speak directly to a planner and find out more about, maybe specifically how it affects them. They'll probably tell us where their address is, we'll have the map on the wall. But it's generally well received because parents get to talk to a planner. And any significant comments that we get, sometimes we will change a recommendation if we learn something that we didn't know before that would improve the recommendation. We could come back with a change to the recommendation.
And the trustee is invited.
The trustee is definitely invited.
Yeah. Thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, on that note, I would recommend everybody, if you hear of one, you will hear of one in your area, that if it's possible, you are available, you will learn a lot about consultation with the community, information flow, and you'll see what you already know now twice, again, on a wall somewhere and have a chance to speak to our amazing planning team. That's a really good idea. I've been to so many of those that it's really important for your constituents to see you there as well. Are there any other comments, questions to our team? I don't know how many words I could say that equal amazing. That is what you are. I would say to Associate Director Gill that this planning team is second to none in this province. It is an amazingly huge board with so many schools and so many intricacies. And you do this and you try to find balance and you try to help families. What I heard was relief at some schools. That's what you're searching. Also using space that is available at other schools. Try to find a balance around the use of portables as well, wherever you can minimize that. And then making sure that we're aware of all of that information and that the community is totally aware of that information as well. So given that there are no other questions, it's on the floor. Could we have a vote for receipt for approval? That is carried. Thank you, team. And we are at 9.2, which is the application status update. Here for our information, presentation by Zach Tessero, who's a development planner, also from the planning team. Hi, Zach.
Hey.
Way to go. Share with us your presentation on application status update.
Thank you. Through you, Chair, this report is for information and includes a list of development applications reviewed by staff for the months of September and October of 2023 with the location map and the letters sent to the respective municipality. I am now open to take any questions you may have.
Thank you. So let's put it on the floor. Trustee McDonald will put it on the floor. Trustee Pomoli will second it. Questions? Trustee McDonald?
Yeah, just, through you, Chair, just item 3, if you could spell my name properly, I'd appreciate it.
Trustee McDonald.
My apologies, Trustee McDonald.
Thank you.
And are there any other questions, comments about the status update? Looks like we're good. All in favor? Receipt? That is carried. Thank you, Zach. Item 9.3 is a procurement activity report. Here also for our information, which will be presented by Wendy Dobson, the Controller of Corporate Support Services. Hi, Wendy.
Thank you and good evening, everyone. Through you, Chair, in your package this evening, you will receive the procurement activity report for the period of September 1st, 2023 to September 30th, 2023. And I'm happy to take any questions on this monthly report.
Trustee Joe Hall put it on the floor for us. Trustee Davies, second, please. It's on the floor. Are there any questions about this report? Seeing none, all in favor of receipt? That is carried. Thank you, Wendy. 9.4 is vandalism activity report, also for our information here. Presentation also by Wendy Dobson, our Controller of Corporate Support Services.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. Tonight I will be presenting the vandalism activity report, also for the month of August 2023. Also in your package this evening is the break and enter vandalism year-end summary report. For the August 2023 report that's in your package, no significance other than we do, again, as mentioned last month, see a lot of activity at our schools during the summer months. Moving to the vandalism and break and entry year-end summary report, you will see in your package Break-in enters there's been an increase in overall break-ins by about 47%, which means we had 19 in 2021-22, and it increased to 28 break-ins in the 22-23 school year. The break-in cost increased 48%, which saw an additional increase of $5,578 in lost damage. However, on the vandalism side, we have seen a decrease in vandalism by approximately 34% from the 2021 to 2022 school year, moving into the 22-2023 school year. This also means that there was a reduction in cost sums and a decrease of approximately $38,000 in vandalism. I'm happy to take any questions on this report.
Let's move it to the floor. Trustee Bailey, will you move it, please? Trustee Davies, will you second it? Thank you. It's on the floor. Are there any questions about this? Yes, Trustee Davies.
I'm just sad to see that this report really reflects economic times, I guess. We don't, we're not happy in vandalizing stuff, but we are desperate in breaking into things. So, again, thanks.
Okay, can I, no other questions? I have one is, do we have insurance that covers much of our loss or portions of our loss in vandalism and in break and enters?
Through you, Chair, yes, we do. It depends on what the incident is and the cost of that, but yes, we have insurance that covers us off in vandalism and damage. I would like to also reiterate that in some cases it's repetitiveness at the same school or the same situation, and then we put extra measures in place to try to mitigate that moving forward.
Okay, thank you. So it's been moved and seconded. No more questions. All in favor of receipt? I'm sorry, did you ask a question?
Follow up with the insurance, through your chair. When so many claims continue to come in, does the insurance increase its premium? Like insurance cost increases?
Through you, Chair, the insurance hasn't increased because we're still within that. There's a window of cost, right? So the insurance hasn't increased. I mean, when we look at the report here, we went from, the break-in enters increased 48%. But again, don't forget the vandalism reduced by 34%. So we went up 48, down 34. So you can see where they kind of offset one another, and it just doesn't increase the insurance.
Thank you. All in favor of receipt of this? Thank you. That's carried. And that's the end of 9.0 staff reports. Item 10 is communications, for which I have none. Item 11 is trustee motions for consideration, for which I have none. Item 12 is trustees notice of motion, which I have none. And item 13 is adjournment. Trustee McDonald, will you adjourn? Trustee Promoli, will you second? All in favor? Thank you, everyone. Good night.